Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm lucky enough to get what I honestly believe is one of the first new Honda Daxes here in the UK. I'll start off this review with a little bit of a fun fact. Does anyone know, or can anyone guess, what the best-selling motorbike in the UK was last year? A 125cc Honda. In fact, 4 of the top 10 best-selling motorbikes in the UK last year were 125cc or below Hondas. Another was a 125cc Yamaha. 2 of the others were BMW GSs, and the final 3 of the top 10, and this is important, were all retro Royal Enfields. So what does that tell us? Well, we've always had and always will have a huge appetite for 125cc bikes. They're attainable and accessible for everyone, and they make a huge amount of practical sense. But on the other side, we love stylish, feel-good retro bikes. So for me, it's almost inexplicable that, maybe apart from Piaggio and the Vespa, none of the big brands have come along and made a genuinely cool, desirable 125cc bike. They're usually plastic commuting machines and no more than that. No more passion has gone into them than just making something that can get from A to B in the city. But with everything going on in the world, the recession, doom and gloom everywhere, surely 125cc riders, whether it's learners or just people who need it to get from A to B, surely they deserve more than that. An outlet for freedom and creativity, something stylish and cool that they can genuinely look forward to getting on and riding. And thank the Lord that in 2018, Honda came along and they reintroduced the monkey bike. And now, a few years later, we've got the Honda Cub to add to the list, and this, coming out in 2022/2023, the all-new Honda Dax, to create a full suite of retro 125cc Honda motorbikes. The stats. This very bike can be yours for £3,750. It is a 4-speed bike. It's got 9 horses and it is 107 kilos. Looks-wise, well, I think it's absolutely stunning. It's a completely true reincarnation of the original bike, which interestingly was sold in Europe from 1969 to 1981, meaning it was actually only for sale in Europe for 12 years. I think Honda have smashed it out of the park with the styling. It is a thing of beauty. It's a work of art. Have a look at just every little detail. I love the exposed engine. First thing I think when I see that, well, this is going to be a joy to work on and service. There's also no fuel filter anywhere, so I'm guessing like the Honda Cub, you don't actually have to replace a fuel filter, but it's so beautifully exposed and unique. This style of frame here, so unique. And for anyone who doesn't know, Monica, if you stay there, Honda Dax, it's very, very simple. It's called a Dax because it looks like a Dachshund. There is a Dachshund dog with a helmet on, and that's the reason. You can see the high exhaust. Well, that screams scrambler to me. Can you imagine putting some off-roading tyres on this and hitting a few off-road tracks? I think it would be off the scale fun, pure enjoyment trying to take this off-road. Retro styling everywhere, of course. If you stay there, Monica, I will demonstrate how manoeuvrable it is by lifting it. Imagine if you're in a car park, just lift like that. Perfect for the city. I've got my brake here, front brake, and nothing here. And that's because Honda have I believe it's called centrifugal clutch or gear change on the left-hand side. So to go up a gear, you just tap there. Apologies, everything's filthy and muddy. So that's going up a gear, and to go back down a gear, you heel it there. And it means that you don't have to mess up your handmade Italian boots. This is what I see when I'm riding. Very simple speedo, fuel gauge at the top here. You can see it's done 57 miles since new, and the speedo in the middle there. It's by no means a tech fest here. It's extremely stripped back. Just a couple of other things to mention. Look at the wheel size on that, and also look at the proportions in general. Yes, it's a very mini bike, but it's actually quite long. This is a genuine two-seater seat. And this is a big selling point for the Dax. It has foot pegs for two people, and it's got, honestly, a bigger seat than a lot of full-sized bikes have. Somehow they've used some form of witchcraft to make this, a genuine two-seater. And I've ridden with Monica plenty of times into Falmouth town now. It's perfectly comfortable there. Coming round to the side, I love the simplicity and the ease of use of everything. Key in there, twist it, lift the seat, fill it up here. I mean, this is what I love. Have a look at this. There's nothing here, no cobweb of wires or anything like that. It's all so beautifully simple and stripped back. And just here, this is all I have, toolkit-wise. I've got 2 spanners, and I've tested this. You can do a lot of work on this bike purely with these 2 spanners. I can take off the shock, I can remove the bottom bit, I can also adjust the chain just with this one, and when I combine these 2 together, that seems to cover a huge amount of servicing parts on the bike. Put that back in there. Just beautiful Honda build quality and simplicity. Everything is so well thought through. In the interest of fairness, just before we head off, oh, have a look at that. I love that. Just the Honda logo on the back. Everything just confident clicks everywhere. Beautiful rear light cluster and great quality handrails there for the pillion to hold onto. There is only one bit so far I found on the bike that probably isn't up to Honda's standard build quality. Have a look at this, Monica. 57 miles on the clock, and already the paint has rubbed off the gear changer on the left-hand side. That's just 57 miles worth of use there. And have a look at the front brake here. Exactly the same. The paint has rubbed off on the rear brake. Look, that's not good enough, of course, but overall the quality of the bike does genuinely feel really, really good. Right, we're in the perfect place for it. Tight, winding country lanes in Cornwall. So let's jump on, helmet up, and hit the road. This bike provides one of the most intense feelings of joy I think I've ever experienced on a motorbike. People smile as you go by. The size and overall feel of it just means that, especially here in Cornwall with these tight lanes, it's a joy to ride. I've probably only ever had one other experience of just such a beautifully smile-inducing ride as I have on this, and that's with the Royal Enfield Classic 350. And don't think because it's small, it's uncomfortable. I was riding for 1 hour by myself around town, and I had no aches or pains. I didn't need to shift my weight at all during that time. The Mini 8 bars mean that it is extremely comfortable. And for Monica, we've ridden into Falmouth 3 or 4 times on this bike. It is perfectly comfortable and capable at riding 2 up. Speed-wise, I got it up to 61 miles an hour as a max, and even going uphill, I managed to get it to 59 miles an hour. The fact that it's got those gears, meaning you can drop down when you need to, it gives it an extra level of dynamism over, for example, a standard scooter, because what it means is that, especially in first gear, you can pull away extremely quickly, even on quite a steep gradient. But the overall road manners, just beautiful, the handling, the brakes, and the sound. It's a really subdued, quiet sound, and I mean that in a good way. You don't get any of that often annoying 125cc sound. You can hear everything around you. They've kept it very, very low key. And it's got such glorious road manners. Bear in mind I've got atrocious slow speed manoeuvring. I will do the next segment while demonstrating how easy this bike is to ride, because Honda, of course, are famous for making 125cc scooters and bikes. No one on earth makes 125cc bikes like Honda. They single-handedly mobilized Southeast Asia, so it should be no surprise that this is an excellent bike. But what we've now got is that magical combination, slow speed here, the magical combination of Honda rock-solid reliability and durability wrapped up in a stunning retro package. Running costs. How much is the Dax going to cost you? Because this is a huge part about the appeal and the selling factor of this bike. It's going to come down to how much is it actually going to cost you. So I've spoken to a 6'4" owner of one of these new Daxes, and he claims that he gets a combined MPG of 162 miles per gallon. To put that into some kind of context, my Bonneville does 45 miles per gallon. So for every 1 gallon of fuel that I put into my Bonneville, I will get 45 miles out of it. Whereas on the Dax, you can get 162. That's phenomenal. Let's look at it compared to what is a decently economical bike in the new Triumph T100. Let's look at a few different things. If you want a fairly budget end tyre for the Triumph T100, you're going to be paying about £100 for the rear tyre. If you want a rear tyre for this, you're going to be paying about £46. Annual road tax for this, £22. Annual road tax for the T100, over £100. MPG, miles per gallon on this, 162, and the MPG real world from owners, what they quote, 50 MPG for the Triumph T100. Price of this, £3,750, and I've had a look. If you can get a finance quote at 5% for this bike, it means that you'll be paying around about £112 a month, no deposit at all for 3 years, and then you own the bike outright. Residuals. Too new to tell, of course, but I've got a good barometer in the 2018 Honda Monkey bike. These residuals, I can put money on it, are going to be as rock solid as anything else out there in the two-wheeled market. The current cost of a Honda monkey bike is around about £4,000. If you want to buy the earliest used model of a Honda monkey bike, that's a 2018 model, it's 5 years old now, you're going to be paying minimum £2,800. And let's bear in mind that 5 years ago it probably cost £3,500 new. So that means that owners in the space of 5 years have lost about £700. And we're talking about the cheapest one. There's a good chance that you could have had 3 or 4 years of riding a monkey bike without it losing 1 penny in value. And let's do one other fun comparison. A season ticket from St Albans, just north of London, into London, an annual season ticket is £3,950. You can buy this, get it fully insured and taxed for 1 year for the same price as an annual season ticket. Yet at the end of it, you've still got a bike probably worth £3,750. And if that's not a selling point for a bike like this, I don't know what is. What's that, Monica? The Hunter. The elephant in the room. Yes, I admit. The Royal Enfield Hunter is only about £100 more expensive than this. And yes, I agree, you get a lot more bike for the money in the Hunter. But they're in two very, very different categories. This bike allows you to just do your 1-day CBT training and ride a genuinely cool 125cc bike. This opens up the market to a whole load more people. Yes, the Hunter may be better value for money, but a lot of the time you just have to hold your hands up and say, for companies like Royal Enfield, what they're doing at the moment, I bow down. Some companies just can't be beaten for what they're doing. And yes, it's better value getting a Hunter, but sometimes you just have to applaud companies like Royal Enfield because what they do seems almost impossible. But don't let the incredible value of the Hunter and the Meteor take away from the fact that this is an excellent bike at fair money. The Dax isn't just a cool 125cc learner bike, it's a cool bike full stop. And it's not a scaled down version of another bike in the range. It's its own unique proposition. And its uniqueness is what makes it so special. It's non-conformist. There's nothing else like it in the market. Honda are doing in the 125cc segment with the monkey bike and the Cub exactly what Royal Enfield have done in the 300 to the 650 segment. They've proven that good value retro bikes can be cool. They've proven that you don't need huge amounts of engine size and you don't need to spend the world to get that genuine feeling of coolness, that desirability from a bike. I think in the time we're in now, 2023, with everything that's going on in the world, a frugal, great value, good-looking bike like this is a recession-era champion when we all need it most. It makes more sense than it's ever made before to have a bike like this. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Your thoughts? I'm really curious about this. How do you feel whether you're getting into biking? Is this something you'd consider? Or if you've already got a big motorbike, would you consider this as a second bike, something to whiz around town, something maybe just to chuck in the back of your van if you're going away on holiday and you've got a two-wheeled mode of transport when you get there? I'd be fascinated to hear your thoughts on it. I've got 3 more days with this bike, so I intend to enjoy it to the fullest. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along, and we'll see you all in the next one.